All right, welcome everybody. This is a video created by Gibby. In this video, I'm going over the process to create a storage bucket in GCP. That is Google Cloud Platform. To create a bucket is very simple, and it's kind of just like the same way. I'm saying you don't create a bucket it's the same way, but if you ever use Google Drive or something like that, like a cloud storage um, space, it's kind of the same way to a degree where you can upload whatever file that you want to, and a bucket will hold those files. Now the thing about buckets is that things in a bucket in GCP is not necessarily called files; they're called objects. But that's something we can cover in a later video. But as of right now, we're just going to go through the process of how to create a bucket. So in this first video, I'm going to create three separate videos. The first video, I'm going to show you how to create a bucket in GCP console. Then I'll show you guys how to actually create one using in the Cloud Shell. In a third video, I'll actually show you how to create a bucket using Terraform slash Tofu in the upcoming video. But as of right now, this is just for creating a bucket in GCP console. All right, so in order to get started, first thing we do, several ways we can go to the bucket space to create it. You can either click on the button right here that says Cloud Storage. This take you to Bucket. You can type in up here, type in Bucket here, and it goes to it here. I normally don't like to use the search box as much, because the reason I don't is that if you go in here, the text that you type in here persists. So a lot of times you come in here and type, you may be trying to type again and everything is still in there. To me, I like to know where each item is at in the menu. I like to go through those items. So with me, come over here, go to Cloud Storage and Buckets right here. So all you got to do is click on Buckets. Creating a bucket in GCP is very simple. There's only a few items that you will need. As you can see, I got 2 items already in here. One of these need to be deleted soon anyway. That has to go. I have one called Don't Delete Me. But get straight forward to that process. Once you in the cloud storage screen, only thing you hit is create. You give your bucket a name. Let's call this my sample bucket. You hit continue. Oh, somebody already got this. So let's call this my sample bucket. Gibby InfoTech. Right? So, matter of fact, let's go back and let's explain this one more time. Not one more time. Let's explain this for the first time here. Let me turn this off. Don't ask again for this session. Yes. Okay. That's my dash lane. So this is something very important. And I want to explain this as best as I can. So a Google storage bucket is a space in where you can store files. Technically, they're objects, but you can store files, whatever file you want to. And each one of these spaces can actually be accessed from the HTTP URL. So say if the URL to access a bucket was called google.com, your bucket didn't be, if you want to access your bucket, you go to google.com/my, then you put your bucket name. Now suppose I have a bucket called my sample bucket and somebody else had another bucket called my sample bucket. What's happening is that if you have 2 people with the same name, when you go to that website, it have no idea which bucket you're referring to. So with that being said, every bucket that's created in GCP has to have a unique name, not just unique to your account, but every other account in GCP. because you cannot have an address pointing to the same name twice. I mean, two different locations with the same name. So that being said, let's come back over to the name here. So you name your bucket. I'm going to put dash Gibby InfoTech. Hit continue. We're not going to do anything about labels today. We're just going to hit continue. We need to give this a region or anything. So you can have a multi-region account, a dual region, or just a single region. We're just going to choose one. Check something here. Okay, no, we're not going to do a dual region. We're just going to do single region. And just to simplify this, I'm going to choose US East, South Carolina. Hit continue. And then it's actually which storage class you want. You want to have standard, nearline, cold line, or archive. These are four you can set. Or you can just choose it to be auto class, which is up here. If you set this to auto class, what happens is that Google analyzes how frequently your data is being accessed, how much is being accessed, and how much is being downloaded. If Google determines that your data on here is being accessed very frequently, it's going to keep you at standard because this is going to give you the best price. But if you see that your data on here is being accessed like very frequently, it'll bump down the type of storage you have, and it can be cost savings to you. Okay, so this is something new. Opt in to allow object transitions to coline and archive classes. Okay, so you just check this box here. So if they analyze your data and found out that it's not being accessed that much, they could just bump it down, which is cost saving. Speaking of cost saving here, this section here shows you your monthly costs for your bucket. So you can choose auto class to have Google determine it, or you can actually just choose whatever one that you want. Just select class by default. You select the one, but I'm just going to choose auto class, let Google determine. You hit continue. Now you want to choose the access control. Control access to your objects. So it says enforce public access prevention on this bucket. If you have this on here, your bucket would not be accessible to the public. This is going back to what I said earlier. Every bucket can be accessed through an HTTP protocol if you set it up properly. If you do not want your bucket to be publicly accessible, you check this box right here. Now, this access control here, and this is, do you want all files or slash objects to have the same file privileges or the same access? What's the word I'm looking for? The same viewing access as every single object in your bucket. If you check this as uniform, every object in your bucket is going to have the same viewing access. So if one thing is set to public, everything is going to be set to public. One thing is set to private, everything is set to private. But if you've put it a fine grain, what this does is that you can change the view access to each individual object independently of each other. So you can have 10 objects be private and 5 objects be public. All right, but once you got these, just hit continue. And now you have a data protection here. This data protection is a soft delete. What it does is that when the data file is going to be moved into like a storage space, and it can be deleted after so many days. Object versioning. This is kind of, if you have backups of your file, you can have different, so many different objects on here. Retention policy. This right here is if you check retention and you set the policy on there, you have a certain amount of days that your bucket, the files, those objects in that bucket have to remain there. If you set it for 10 days, you cannot remove or delete those objects in that bucket for 10 days. So you need to be very careful about this. Now, if you set it and you need to delete those items, you're going to have to contact a GCP support and see if they can delete it for you. But if not, you're just going to have to wait it out. Now you do have data encryption here. You have Google managed encryption keys. This costs you nothing to have. But if you change it to Cloud KMS, I believe that this does change the price. If you change anything here, like if you change anything or you put some other things here, it could change the price, your monthly service price here. So these are things to further look into. I'm not going to go too deep into these here as of right now. So we're going to keep it as Google managed encryption key. Once you fill that out, you're done. Your bucket is now created and you can upload files to your bucket. You can upload files, folders, create folder, transfer data. Now let's do this process one more time very quickly. Create bucket. Gibby InfoTech /bucket. Continue. Region. We're going to put this in South America, East Sao Paulo. Continue. We're going to keep it standard. I'm just going to put it on auto class. Continue. We're going to keep enforcement. We're actually going to have it open to the public. Continue. Retention. If we delete something, we're going to delete that. And your bucket is now created. If you go back here, you now have 2 storage spaces right here where you can upload files. To delete the bucket is the only thing you do. You can actually, let's see here. Yes, you can delete the bucket this way by coming to the menu here. Or you can go inside the bucket, I believe. Let's see. Nope, cannot delete it that way. Just check these two. Okay, delete them both at the same time. Yes, you can. Okay, check those 2 buckets. Gibby InfoTech bucket, my sample bucket, Gibby InfoTech. Hit delete. The one thing you want to do, you got to type in delete here to confirm. And both of those buckets are now been deleted. No data has been preserved. They're just going into the ether. All right, so the next video I'm going to show you guys is how to create a bucket using the Cloud Shell, which is this icon up here. So in the next video, that's what we'll go through. All right, this is Crypto Gibby with Gibby InfoTech, and I will catch you in the next video. All right, peace.